Hello and welcome to the DFW Spring Series. This is race 2 at Gateway Park in Fort Worth. My name is Taylor and I'm racing in the men's beginner division, and we're doing 2 laps around the course today. I first rode this course a year ago as my first mountain bike race ever, so I'm excited to be back on it and looking to improve my time from last year. One of the things I improved already from last year is that first corner. Last year I took it on the sidewalk. This year I cut the corner on the grass. It didn't gain me any places, but I didn't lose any places either. And I felt it was really important to get in a good position on this first section because there aren't a lot of good places to pass, and I didn't want to be way far back in the pack getting held up by somebody. There's 2 people in front of me. The guy in front of me is keeping a pretty consistent gap to the first place rider in front of him, so I'm happy to stay behind both of them and let them set the pace here at the beginning. I'm trying to not blow up too much. I feel like mountain bikers have a tendency to go too hard at the beginning, so I'm trying to keep it contained. I don't know what these features are called where you have trees really close on both sides. I call them narrows, but I'm not a fan. I feel like they're this weird skill check that I don't want it. That's like really high risk, really low reward, so I always go through them a little slower than I'd like. Right there, we just passed a fork in the road that's not marked, which is unusual for this course. Most things have either cones or signs or tape or something, but here it just splits off to the left and then joins up here. I've never seen anybody go left, and I've never gone left either, so I don't know how much time you lose going that way, but it's just kind of weird to have that open as an option at all. Right here's one of the trickier parts of the course where you got to go uphill and hang a right, and then it feels like you can take off right after this, but actually you have to go into another chicane, and this one was a little some loose dirt there today, so I'm glad I didn't put a foot down or fall down there. Feeling good about it so far. I've been behind this guy for a while, and I feel like I have an opportunity to go around him here, but I don't take it, and honestly, in retrospect, I'm not sure why. I think at the time I thought he's keeping a pretty good pace, and the gap to the leader is still pretty consistent, so I might as well just stay behind him, but probably I should have gone around him there. Fortunately, I get another opportunity not too much later, so I go around him here, and I'm feeling pretty good about being able to burst around him there. And then another interesting choice here where you can go left or right. I don't know which choice is the correct one. I have gone right every time I've ridden this trail. Maybe left is faster. I really have no idea. And this trail is an hour away from me, so I can't come out to try out all the different lines and see. And in between riding this last year and riding it this time, I've only done this course one other time, so I haven't had a lot of time to go explore. So maybe some, Fort Worth natives can let me know if I'm picking the right lines here on these or not. I'm caught up to the leader here because he's behind somebody else. I think this is probably one of the riders in the intermediate race that we're catching up to. And also you saw him go over one of those little jumps there. I rigorously avoided every feature on the trail, sidestepping everything. I'm just trying to stay fast, keep the rubber on the ground, and not crash. I don't have the confidence yet to go over these things, especially in a race setting when my heart is beating faster than it otherwise would be. The leader gets around the rider there, and he sees me, gives me the wave on too, so I'm happy to not be stuck behind that guy. And yeah, I'm not very confident passing on these single track sections anyway, so it's something that I need to improve on. I got kind of lucky there that he even saw me and waved me past. Like I said, I'm avoiding features. This little step up into the banked corner. I actually take the banked corner because I thought it would be fun, but I think it ended up slowing me down there because I had to slow down so much to get around the feature. I think next time I do this race, I'm going to take that step up and then into the banked corner because I think it's just going to be faster overall than trying to get around it. And I noticed that a lot of the lines really push you into the features, which I think is a good thing and what you should be doing. But again, in a race setting with my level of confidence, I was trying to avoid the features and it kind of backfired for me there. For some reason, I decided to go over this log, which turned out just fine. I didn't get stuck on it or anything, but I think it was slower than going around. So contrary to what I was saying about all the other features, in this case, would have been faster to go around that one. So we kind of all got piled up here. These 2 riders I don't think are in the intermediate race because they're not wearing helmets, which are a requirement of the race. So they must have just been out to have a good time on the trail. So, on the one hand, I kind of feel bad for them that there's these racers crashing their ride. On the other hand, there's 50 racers out here, so maybe they should get the hint and get off the trail. So I'm not sure. But I used to be a road rider, and I feel like that's my time to shine, which is when we're on the sidewalk here. So I take the opportunity to go around the leader. And right now I'm in first place and feeling pretty good about myself. And I'm trying to catch, I caught a glimpse of these guys up ahead, probably from the intermediate race. And I'm trying to catch them during this section where I'm on the pavement and really can, put down some power. I do manage to catch up to them before we get back on the single track, and for some reason I decided not to go around them. I think it felt like too aggressive at the time, but in retrospect I probably should have tried to go around them, at least been like, hey, you know, looking to pass. But also I knew that this single track section is actually pretty short, and then we get dumped back into like the sidewalk around a parking lot. So, you know, it's another opportunity for me to get around on pavement. And that's what we're coming out to here. I probably could have passed here as well. I didn't know if I wanted to go on the inside or outside. I didn't want to cut too much of the course like I did a year ago, which, you know, I didn't get like DQ'd, but it felt kind of nasty for some reason. So anyway, I wait until we get up to the sidewalk here, and then I'm like, hey, I'm going to go around you on the left. And this works out just fine for me. So, you know, I probably lost a little time waiting behind them, but not too much. And then I'm coming up on this rider in the Cadence kit, and he's kind of going all over the place, and I wasn't sure. I tried to call out going on one side, and he drifted over to that side, so not sure what they're up to. Anyway, got around them, felt good about passing 3 people on this one sidewalk section, and then boom, back into the single track. So I finished my first lap in first place and just under 14 minutes, which is an entire minute faster than my last time around this course, which was a year ago, and again, my first time doing a mountain bike race, almost my first time riding a mountain bike in like more than a decade. So no surprise that I did get faster. I was aiming to be about 30 seconds faster, and I ended up being a minute faster, so that feels great. And at this point, I'm trying to maintain my lead. I can't see anybody behind me, so I don't know how close people are. And I'm also trying not to blow up and also not like drift too far on my second lap, you know, lose too much time from there. So really just trying to like pay attention to line choice, lean the bike more, stay off the brakes, and not let my heart rate spike up too high. Not much has happened for most of the lap, but I learned my lesson from the last lap and decided to go around that log feature this time, and there were a few guys hanging out on the side that weren't part of the race. So yeah, a little bit quicker on that lap than the previous one. So here I caught up to a rider, I think from the intermediate race, and I was looking for an opportunity to get around them, and then it just kind of happened automatically because they went up on this feature so I could go around. And I can see in the rear view now, and I didn't know this at the time, there was another rider who caught up to me. Their name is Lee. And yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, I didn't know at the beginning of the lap how close people were, but he was just like, must have been closing down gaps because I had several seconds of time behind me with nobody, and now all of a sudden he's on my tail. So yeah, I didn't know he was there, but I was still just trying to keep up a solid pace. Lee calls out and asks to get around, so I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And I feel kind of bad for him because I know that we're about to get onto the sidewalk section, which is the part that I'm the best at. So boom, here we are on the sidewalk section, and I'm like, all right, now's my time to shine as a former roadie. So I shift up a few times and try to get as arrow as I can, and then say like, hey man, coming right back around you. So his time in the sun was brief here, but kudos to him for passing me anyway. And yeah, this is just like, you know, I really got to put the watts down here to try to open that gap back up. Fortunately for me, I was able to open up that gap, and I actually ended up finishing this lap about 5 seconds slower than my first lap, so I didn't drift too far, and I got across the finish line in first place. Lee was behind me not too much further. And yeah, I had a great time out here today. Really glad to be back on the mountain bike racing again after the winter. And thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you again next time.